not. Number 2 on that list, your teammate who's just been phenomenal, because, we've spoken about how one can have a great IPL and then there's Virat Kohli, he comes in and does it again. He's just been fiery. He's been this Virat 2.0. His strike rate has gone up. He's answered all his critics. He's done everything. And this is exactly that fiery Virat we need for the World Cup.
Virat Kohli, well, I can write a book on how he was this year. He started okay. But I think thanks to people like Simon and a few others, this really spurred him on. Mm. And you don't want to see that side of Virat Kohli. I think they've, in a way, I think he thrives on that. He is someone inadvertently who wants to hold on to certain things to do well. Loves proving people wrong. And even though he might not come out and say it, it really fuels his passion. And he's like a molten lava coming out. He's fiery and you don't want to be anywhere close to it because you're going to get burnt for sure, because he's done this time and time again. And I genuinely feel some people don't mind him proving wrong because he's that good to watch. When he comes off, you can speak about RCB, the success and all of that. It is not happening without that man. And I'm not saying this with his batting. It's the intimidating feeling that he gives when he's on the field, the way he pushes fielders. If you ever had a mic in one of those timeouts, my God, there'll be a lot of bleeps for a start, and Ben Stokes will be mentioned a bit. But if you look past all that, the intensity that he carries and he expects each player to do well, man, I doff my hat to him. To be doing that in the 17th year of IPL, stand up and applaud the man, because RCB and its fans should be grateful to have a guy like that. He is built differently, and that is what propels him. And if he does anything similar to what he's done for RCB, which he does, and even more at times for the country, but it's not easy. You know, when you need to back up a tournament like IPL, playing for India can be the toughest thing, because the emotional roller coaster, it takes time for, the body and the mind to settle down, but to immediately again push and go for another fast-paced tournament is not easy. And there are very few who can do it, and one among that is Virat Kohli. And that version of Virat Kohli is a special one.
Well, Simon, we want someone to whisper in his ear, don't we, as Indian fans, that he can't do it for the World Cup. That's what we want.
The thing is with Virat, and when I talk about him, I see a phenomenal player, a great player, a player who should be dominating more than what he was. And that's my point around it. And that's why I talk about his strike rate. I felt at times he was afraid to get out because he was worried about what was behind him, rather than just saying, I'm so good. And he is so good. And it's the same thing I said about Baba. And I had a great chat to Baba after I talked about it in Pakistan. And he said, yeah, you know what? He said, my coach has told me the same thing. And he is such a great player. He should be dominating more. And what I loved about this year was the intent to hit the sixes.
Virat said that himself, that he was worried about what if he gets out, but he's gone past that thought, and that's what helped him.
He's too good to worry about what if he gets out. He's too good a player. And that was always my point around him. I've admired, I said 1,000 great things about Virat Kohli, but I say one thing that might be slightly negative or construed to be negative, and I get death threats. But that's what happens.
That's pretty sad in India, though.
And that's the shame of it.
It's pretty sad because you go to basketball, you go to football, and there are pundits who speak about the game. About what needs to be done. And I think somewhere the Indian diaspora, or the Indian people rather, the fans, should find out the difference between people taking him on personally and people talking about his cricketing side of things. I think Virat appreciates it if you can, find the difference.
It's never personal. It's never personal. I mean, we've had great conversations. I've interviewed him at tosses. We've talked after games. There's never been an issue. And I would never, never have a reason to have a personal issue. And I've always said how great a player he is. It's just one of those things that when I look at the game and the way the game has moved, particularly with the impact sub, it had moved.
Yes.
And a strike rate of 134, 35 didn't cut it anymore. So what he did this year, just absolutely, I loved the way he was more aggressive. He took the bowling on. He played the slog sweep, which we didn't see him play much at all. And he's never not going to have the fire. He's never not going to be one of the fittest blokes in the game, because that's what drives him. And if sometimes, you know, he needs some motivation, and I think DK's absolutely right. I thought about it afterwards, and I thought, you know, maybe he does thrive on it, because what else has he got to thrive on? After 17 years of giving the game everything he's given, he's got to look for some things to spur him on now and then. And if I can do that from an Indian cricket point of view, then that's good. You know, I love coming to this country. I love working in this country. And if I can spur him on in some way, shape or form, then good on him. Good on him for turning around and trying to prove people like me wrong, because it's just an opinion.
Yes.
It is. And I get paid for mine.
In fact, you should get paid double, I feel.
Well, this is the Virat we want to see at the World Cup. Virat 2.0 is who we want at the World Cup.